Hey, Tom. Good morning.
Hey.
I'd like to tell a quick story, actually, in reference to your cat experience, if I may.
Please.
So this was having to do with a butterfly, and it was probably one of the most profound experiences of my life. So I'm walking along kind of a busy street, and I'm on the sidewalk, and I see this butterfly fluttering around. I'm going, what's going on with this butterfly? So I get up close to it, and I look at it closely, and I realize that it had a grass blade stuck, somehow had lodged between its antennas, and it was blocking its eyesight, so it couldn't see it. So it was fluttering around and everything. So I get close to the butterfly, and I realize, I gotta get this grass blade out of its antennas, and then it'll be able to be okay. So I focus in on this butterfly, and it keeps trying to get away from me because it's scared, and finally it stops, and I look at it and I say, and I just, I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking to the butterfly, I'm going to save you if you let me. So eventually the butterfly starts crawling up my arm. I'm totally mind melded with this butterfly at this point. Crawls up my arm. I go to try to get this grass blade out of his antenna, and it gets scared and tries to fly away. So then fluttering around again, goes out into the middle of the street, and I end up going out into traffic and blocking traffic. You can't hit this butterfly, so I get the butterfly to kind of go to the side of the road again. And then I go for round two, and I look at this butterfly and say, listen, if you want to live, you're going to have to let me save you. So again, the butterfly starts crawling up my arm, and finally it gets close enough to my finger, and I stick my finger down there, and I pull that grass blade out of his eye, and it flies away.
Wow.
And it was just and it was a total mind meld. It was totally, clearly this butterfly knew that I was the only thing that could save him. So I just thought I'd share that.
So do you know what that's an amazing story, Brian. I love that. Do you know what a Tachinid fly is?
Yes.
For people who don't, a Tachinid fly is, they're in the family of flies, like house flies, but they look like little yellow bees. Yeah, they've got little black and yellow stripes in the back. They don't have a stinger. They're completely, they're just flies. And so it is a two-part story. When I was 18, my best friend, Clark Stinson, and I bought a couple of teepees and about 50 pounds of dried food, and got a ride up to the Chippewa National Forest in the middle of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. A friend of ours, his grandfather was a trapper, and he had an old cabin up there, and we met with him, and he took us on a 2-day walk back into the forest to this little lake. It was called Duck Lake. It wasn't even on most maps. And we set up our teepees, and we spent the whole summer there doing spiritual practice, basically, just meditation. And in fact, we'd go 3 days every week without saying any words. And every morning I'd sit and meditate, and there was this Tachinid fly that would come while I was sitting, and I had my hands on my knees, and he would come and he would just rest on the back of my hand and just hang out with me when I was meditating. When I was done, he would just get up and fly away. And it was like every day he'd come over and hang out with me. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of distracting at first, but it was kind of cool. So anyhow, 40 years later, in the late 1980s, I was writing a book about my experiences with this guy Gottfried Mueller, who started this international relief organization that I worked for 20 some odd years, traveling around the world, setting up communities for abused kids and famine relief programs and stuff like that. And he was a former German military officer, actually, during World War II. And in my book, the book is called The Prophet's Way. It was published years ago. It's still in print. And in the book, I start out, it's kind of like a spiritual autobiography, and I'm sitting on my back porch in Atlanta, Georgia, in Roswell, Georgia, an Atlanta suburb. I'm sitting on my back porch with a laptop in my hand, on my lap, and I'm writing this book. I'm writing this story. And as I'm writing the story of the Tachinid fly, and I hadn't seen one in decades, as I'm writing this story, a Tachinid fly comes over and lands on my hand. And it just blew my mind. I mean, it's in the book right now, where I said, as I'm writing this, a Tachinid fly just landed on my hand. I was just so astonished by it. It's like, the universe is constantly talking to us, Brian. I am convinced.
I agree. I think consciousness is not limited to mammalian creatures either, right?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
All probably cells and everything. So But
Yeah.
thanks for listening to my story, Tom.
Yeah, back at you. Thank you very much. Good talking to you.